Hello brothers and welcome to Sigma Old Man Channel. Inside every Sigma male lives a man who could either pray for the world or burn it down. Science calls it cognitive dissonance. Psychologists call it dual identity. But for the Sigma male, it's simply Tuesday. He wakes up every day housing two distinct empires in one body, a monk who seeks peace and a mercenary who prepares for war. The terrifying part, both sides are right. While most men spend their lives trying to find balance, the Sigma learned that balance is a battlefield, not a destination. He meditates in the morning, strategizes by noon, and by midnight, he's already ghosted civilization again, not out of confusion, but control. The monk in him needs solitude to stay sane. The mercenary needs silence to stay sharp. He doesn't live a double life, he survives it. One half detaches from ego, the other weaponizes it. Together they form something the world can't categorize, a man too peaceful to be conquered and too dangerous to be understood. And before you think he's just some enlightened hermit with Wi-Fi, remember this: even when he's still, he's studying you. Because while everyone else is chasing validation, he's mastering invisibility. Welcome to the life of the Sigma male, where a monk meditates and a mercenary calculates, all under the same skin. Number one, he values power only when it's invisible. He values power only when it's invisible. The Sigma male doesn't chase power like most men do. He studies it, dissects it, and learns how to wear it without anyone noticing. To him, real power isn't loud, boastful, or drenched in validation. It's the quiet control that bends situations without force, the calm presence that shifts rooms without words. He's not interested in being seen as powerful. He's interested in being powerful, silently, efficiently, and completely. He understands that the more visible power becomes, the more fragile it is. The moment people can trace your strength, they start plotting how to weaken it. That's why he keeps his cards close, his motives unreadable, and his influence hidden behind casual conversations. He can persuade someone without ever sounding persuasive. He can guide decisions without ever giving direct orders. People walk away thinking it was their idea, and that's exactly how he wants it. The Sigma's monk side sees power as a potential trap, something that can intoxicate and enslave the ego. But his mercenary side knows power is a survival tool, a currency in a world that only respects leverage. Together they reach a chilling agreement. Possess power, but never display it. Command the game, but let others think they're winning. That's the highest form of mastery. Influence without exposure. He doesn't need followers or applause to validate his strength. In fact, he finds the chase for recognition almost pathetic, because the moment you need to prove you have power, you've already lost it. His strength is in how effortlessly he can disappear from the spotlight and still have his fingerprints on every outcome. People underestimate him because they can't see what he's doing, and that's the precise reason he wins. His kind of power is like gravity, unseen, undeniable, and always present. It doesn't scream, it simply makes everything orbit around it. And by the time the world realizes he's been pulling the strings, he's already moved on to the next silent conquest. That's the Sigma's secret. Not to be the king everyone watches, but the ghost who built the throne. Number two, he knows the world can't handle his wholeness. He knows the world can't handle his wholeness. The Sigma male learned early that when you live as both the monk and the mercenary, people don't know what to do with you. You confuse them. You're too calm to be underestimated, too sharp to be ignored, and too self-contained to be controlled. Society likes simple labels: the nice guy, the rebel, the leader, the loner. But the Sigma doesn't fit into any of those categories. He's all of them and none of them at the same time. When he's peaceful, people assume he's weak. When he's ruthless, they call him cold. What they can't grasp is that both sides come from the same source, discipline. The monk in him learned to detach from chaos. The mercenary in him learned to navigate it. He's not unstable or unpredictable. He's complete. But the world isn't comfortable with completeness. It's threatened by it. People need to box you in so they can understand you. And when they can't, they either fear you or reject you. So he learned to show the world fragments of himself, a calm version for those who crave reassurance, a strategic version for those who value results, but rarely the whole man, because most people don't deserve to meet him in full form. When they do, it unsettles them. They can't tell if he's a saint or a storm, and that confusion makes them defensive. His depth exposes their shallowness. His self-mastery reminds them of their lack of control. The Sigma doesn't hide out of insecurity. He hides out of mercy. He knows his intensity can overwhelm, his silence can provoke, and his truth can shatter illusions people aren't ready to lose. He lives in a world that worships performance but fears authenticity. So he wears his duality like armor, revealing it only to those capable of understanding that light and darkness can coexist in harmony. In the end, his wholeness is both his strength and his isolation. Few can comprehend how a man can be gentle without being soft, detached without being cruel, silent yet impossible to ignore. And that's the paradox of the Sigma. He isn't hard to read because he's hiding. He's hard to read because he's real. Number 3, he's calm in chaos because he designed it. He's calm in chaos because he designed it. The Sigma male doesn't just endure disorder, he often orchestrates it. While others pray for peace, he creates controlled chaos to expose what's real. He knows that when everything's calm, people lie, masks stay on, and true intentions hide behind comfort. But when tension rises and the system shakes, everyone's truth leaks out. The monk in him wants to test his own detachment, to see if he can stay centered when everything burns. The mercenary in him, however, wants to see who panics, who adapts, and who reveals their weakness when the pressure spikes. This is why he doesn't fear chaos. He studies it. He doesn't see storms as punishment, but as experiments. It's not destruction for fun. It's disruption for truth. He believes that what can't survive disorder doesn't deserve to exist. Whether it's a relationship, a plan, or a belief, he'll shake it until its foundation shows. That's his way of measuring authenticity, by how much it can endure when comfort disappears. People mistake his calm for arrogance, but it's actually design. He's not surprised by the storm because he's the one who opened the sky. He's already played out every scenario in his mind. He's already decided which pieces can fall without breaking him. So while everyone else scrambles for control, he stands still, watching everything unfold exactly as expected. The monk side of him observes the chaos without attachment. The mercenary executes decisions without hesitation. Together, they make him unshakable. What unsettles others is that he never looks like he's fighting. He can walk through collapsing situations with the same composure most people reserve for breathing. That's not apathy. That's precision. Chaos is his test lab, and he's the only one who knows the rules. By the time the dust settles, he's already learned what he needed, who was loyal, what was fake, what still holds power. The storm doesn't drain him, it updates him. Because when you design the chaos, it doesn't consume you, it refines you. Number 4, he doesn't seek freedom, he builds it. He doesn't seek freedom, he builds it. For the Sigma male, freedom isn't something handed down or granted by luck. It's something constructed brick by brick through discipline, foresight, and self-reliance. The monk in him seeks inner liberation, freedom from emotional noise, ego, and dependency. The mercenary, on the other hand, understands that spiritual freedom means nothing if you're still bound by circumstance. So he engineers systems, financial, mental, and emotional, that ensure no one ever holds a leash over him again. He doesn't dream of escape, he designs it. While most people chase the illusion of freedom through rebellion or comfort, he studies what chains them: money, validation, fear, addiction, and quietly removes each one. To him, freedom is not a mood or a moment, it's a framework. He builds habits that outlast motivation, skills that outlive opportunities, and independence that outshines approval. Every decision he makes, who he keeps close, what he spends on, where he invests his time, is strategic architecture. The monk in him insists on detachment. The mercenary insists on control. Combined, they create a man who's untouchable. He knows freedom isn't about doing whatever you want. It's about never being forced to do what you hate. That's why he doesn't overshare, doesn't overcommit, and never gets too comfortable depending on anyone's system. If it collapses, he simply walks away. Not because he's cold, but because he's prepared. Most people confuse the Sigma's calm with luck. They don't see the years he spent designing exits before he ever needed them. They don't see how every no he says is actually a blueprint for self-preservation. He doesn't rebel loudly because rebellion is still a reaction. He prefers creation, building a life so structurally sound that control becomes irrelevant. For him, freedom isn't the absence of rules, it's the mastery of them. He doesn't wait for permission to breathe. He builds the air himself. And by the time others realize he's free, he's already constructing the next version of it, quieter, stronger, and completely his own. Number 5, he hides mercy inside ruthlessness. He hides mercy inside ruthlessness. To the outside world, the Sigma male looks cold when he walks away, but those who've truly known him understand it's not cruelty, it's clarity. When he cuts someone off, it's rarely out of anger. It's an act of mercy for both sides. The monk in him has already forgiven. The mercenary just understands that forgiveness doesn't require access. He knows some connections are like open wounds. They heal faster when left untouched. People often confuse his silence with hatred, but he's simply done explaining himself. The monk inside him sees the bigger picture. He knows not everyone grows at the same pace, and not every bond deserves resurrection. The mercenary, however, sees time as ammunition, and he refuses to waste a single bullet on emotional negotiations. Together, they create a man who doesn't argue, doesn't chase, doesn't seek closure, because he knows closure is the emotional theater of those afraid to move on. When he leaves, it looks like an execution, but it's really a release. He's not punishing anyone. He's ending a loop that would have destroyed them both. His brand of mercy is surgical, quick, clean, and final. He'd rather look heartless than keep pretending something still lives when it's already dead. He believes pain now is better than poison later. The monk in him prays they find peace. The mercenary ensures he never has to revisit the battlefield. That balance makes him appear detached, but in truth it's his deepest form of compassion. Because caring too long for what's already broken isn't love, it's self-sabotage. He doesn't slam doors, he simply closes them so quietly you don't realize it's over until you're standing outside. And though his calm can feel like cruelty, it's his way of saying, I wish you well, just not near me. That's the mercy he hides inside ruthlessness, the ability to let go without resentment, to disappear without drama, and to love without losing himself. Because sometimes the kindest thing he can do is nothing at all. Number 6, he fights inner battles no one sees. He fights inner battles no one sees. Every day there's a quiet war raging inside him, not between good and evil, but between peace and power. The monk in him wants to surrender to stillness, to detach from ambition, to find meaning beyond the noise. The mercenary in him, however, wants to dominate, to achieve, to prove that control is the purest form of freedom. These two sides never truly agree, yet they depend on each other to exist. He doesn't talk about these wars because no one would understand. To outsiders, he looks composed, unshakable, even emotionless. But beneath that still exterior is a battlefield littered with questions. When to stay, when to fight, when to forgive, when to walk away. The monk tells him peace is power. The mercenary reminds him that power protects peace. And so he moves through life, mastering the art of inner conflict, not by silencing it, but by learning from it. He knows that every calm decision he makes is forged in the fire of unseen turmoil. When he pauses before reacting, it's not hesitation, it's discipline. He's weighing both philosophies in real time. The monk tells him to rise above revenge. The mercenary whispers that forgiveness without boundaries is surrender. He listens to both, and what emerges is balance, a strange, quiet strength that doesn't need to prove itself. These battles leave no scars, but they change him. They refine his instincts, his patience, his ability to read people without judging them. He understands human contradictions because he lives with his own every day. His silence isn't emptiness, it's strategy. He's learned that the loudest wars are the ones fought inside, and victory isn't about domination, it's about integration. The world sees a calm man, but that calm was earned through chaos. Every ounce of restraint he shows is built on the ashes of 1,000 inner fights. And while others shout to prove control, he's learned that true mastery comes from surviving his own storms and walking out of them without needing anyone to know he was ever bleeding. Number 7, he's obsessed with mastery, not glory. He's obsessed with mastery, not glory. The Sigma male doesn't care about applause, recognition, or validation. Those things are distractions disguised as rewards. What he truly craves is competence so deep that no one can question it, and control so sharp that no one can take it from him. The monk in him strives for enlightenment, inner precision, emotional discipline, and mental clarity. The mercenary demands efficiency, results, strategy, and strength without wasted motion. Together, they create a man whose life is a lifelong apprenticeship to excellence. He doesn't show off his wins because he's too busy refining the next move. While others broadcast progress, he studies flaws. He'd rather be underestimated than overexposed. He knows fame invites interference and attention dilutes focus. So he operates in silence, making adjustments no one notices until it's too late to compete with him. His victories aren't for the crowd, they're for the mission. Once he achieves something, he doesn't stop to celebrate. He studies how to do it better. The monk in him is obsessed with evolution, not ego. The mercenary demands outcomes, not admiration. Together, they form a dangerous equation. A man who grows without needing anyone's permission. He doesn't fear failure because failure is data, proof of where to sharpen. That's why he rarely repeats mistakes. He's too analytical to fall into emotional patterns. His mind is a workshop, not a theater. When others chase fame, he chases fluency. Fluency in thought, in action, in control of himself. And that's why his power compounds quietly. The world often mistakes his calm for indifference, but it's the calm of someone who already knows the game's outcome because he built the rules himself. He doesn't crave being known, he craves being undeniable. By the time the world notices what he's mastered, it's already irreversible. The systems are built, the skills are ingrained, and the influence is embedded. Glory fades fast, mastery endures. And for the Sigma male, that's the only kind of immortality worth chasing. To become so efficient, so evolved, that praise feels like a waste of time. Number 8, he trains for battles that might never come. He trains for battles that might never come. The Sigma male doesn't prepare because he expects chaos. He prepares because he respects it. He knows the world doesn't send warnings before it shifts, and the only insurance against collapse is constant evolution. The monk in him calls it discipline, the sacred duty to stay sharp, focused, and unmoved by comfort. The mercenary calls it readiness, the art of staying lethal even when life feels peaceful. Together, they make him a man who practices war in times of calm, so that peace never makes him soft. He trains his mind the same way a soldier maintains his weapon, not because he wants to fight, but because he refuses to be unarmed. He studies people, situations, and himself with quiet precision, building endurance where most people build excuses. The world sees him as detached, but what they're really seeing is controlled awareness, a mind rehearsed in staying composed under pressure. He doesn't wait for the storm to adapt. He adapts before it arrives. Comfort is his greatest adversary. He knows that comfort dulls instincts, slows thinking, and seduces strong men into fragility. So even when life gives him rest, he turns it into training. The monk in him disciplines his emotions, fasting from validation and noise. The mercenary strengthens his execution, sharpening logic, refining reaction time, mastering control under stress. He treats every moment as preparation, every mistake as a drill, every setback as simulation. This mindset makes him dangerous in ways others can't see. While most people react to life, he rehearses for it. When problems appear, he's already calibrated. When others panic, he adjusts. His calm doesn't come from luck. It comes from practice. He's not obsessed with conflict. He's obsessed with competence. He knows that a man who only trains when war begins is already too late. For him, dullness feels like death because it is. The death of readiness, instinct, and self-respect. That's why the Sigma sharpens himself daily, not out of fear, but out of duty to his own potential. He's not waiting for war. He's preparing to never be conquered. Number 9, he destroys comfort before it corrupts him. He destroys comfort before it corrupts him. The Sigma male understands that comfort, while it feels good, is the slowest and most seductive form of decay. It dulls the mind, softens instincts, and convinces a man that he's safe when he's actually slipping. The monk in him rejects comfort because it clouds awareness. It numbs the spirit, weakens focus, and makes the soul lazy. The mercenary rejects it for a harsher reason. He knows that the moment he stops testing himself, he becomes prey to something sharper, hungrier, and more disciplined. Together, they form a man who sees comfort, not as a blessing, but as a threat to everything he's built. He doesn't hate peace, he just doesn't trust it for too long. When life gets too easy, he begins to sense that something is off, that his edge is dulling beneath the surface. That's when he disrupts himself on purpose. He sets new challenges, raises his standards, and willingly steps into discomfort to reset his instincts. It's not restlessness, it's survival. To him, progress and pain are twin flames. If he's not being stretched, he's being sedated. The monk in him sees struggle as purification. Every hardship burns away another illusion. The mercenary views struggle as strategy. Every difficulty strengthens his resilience. This is why he's rarely surprised when life turns harsh. He's already been training for it, creating friction before the world forces it on him. The Sigma male would rather face controlled discomfort now than uncontrolled destruction later. People often mistake his rejection of comfort for coldness, but it's actually discipline. He's learned that men addicted to comfort trade their potential for peace and call it happiness. He refuses that deal. He'd rather feel the sting of growth than the numbness of stagnation. So he burns comfort before it burns him. He dismantles anything that tempts him to settle, habits, relationships, or routines, not out of boredom, but out of reverence for his evolution. Because he knows the truth most people run from: comfort doesn't cradle you, it cages you. And a Sigma male would rather live in motion than rot in peace. Number 10, he's addicted to building inner fortresses. He's addicted to building inner fortresses. The Sigma male doesn't trust the kind of security that depends on things that can vanish: money, admiration, or love. He's seen too many men collapse the moment their external world crumbled, and he swore never to become one of them. The monk in him builds spiritual walls, walls made of solitude, discipline, and detachment. The mercenary builds psychological armor, boundaries, mental sharpness, and emotional control. Together, they construct a fortress no manipulation can breach. He doesn't build these walls to keep people out. He builds them to keep his peace in. The Sigma knows the world trades in emotional leverage. People use affection as currency, validation as a leash, and guilt as a weapon. So he built immunity. He's polite but not accessible, connected but never dependent. He can walk away from anyone or anything without breaking, not because he lacks emotion, but because he's fortified it. His feelings obey him, not the other way around. Every experience, betrayal, disappointment, rejection, becomes another layer of brick in that fortress. He doesn't waste pain by complaining. He recycles it into structure. The monk in him finds serenity in silence. The mercenary finds safety in self-reliance. And within that union lies an impenetrable core, calm, calculating, and completely unshakable. That's why manipulation fails on him. You can't control someone who doesn't need what you offer. People often misinterpret his strength as coldness, but it's simply protection. He knows emotional exposure is dangerous in a world that mistakes kindness for weakness. So he keeps his warmth guarded, his thoughts filtered, and his vulnerabilities sacred. Only a rare few ever see beyond the fortress walls, and even they know it's a privilege, not a right. Inside those walls lives a man who's untouchable, not because he's detached from humanity, but because he's mastered how to coexist with it without surrendering his peace. His fortress isn't built from fear, it's built from freedom. Because a Sigma male doesn't hide from the world, he just refuses to let it invade his mind. And in that quiet, protected kingdom within himself, he is completely free. Number 11, he lives by codes that contradict each other. He lives by codes that contradict each other. The Sigma male isn't guided by one philosophy. He's split between two extremes that somehow coexist within him. The monk in him says, detach, release, let go of control. The mercenary counters with, hold your ground, fight till the end, never back down. And instead of choosing one, he obeys both. He can surrender emotionally while remaining unstoppable in action. He lets go of outcomes but never effort. That paradox is what makes him unreadable. He's too peaceful to be desperate, yet too relentless to be defeated. Most people need consistency to feel secure. They cling to one way of thinking because contradiction scares them. But the Sigma lives comfortably in contradiction. It's where his balance lives. The monk keeps his ego in check. The mercenary keeps his fire alive. One prevents him from becoming ruthless. The other prevents him from becoming passive. Together, they create a man who can meditate in the morning and dismantle empires by night, all with the same level of composure. He doesn't need alignment to function. He thrives on inner opposition. The monk's detachment gives him emotional stability, so losses don't destroy him. The mercenary's discipline gives him tactical sharpness, so victories don't distract him. He's mastered the dual art of being driven yet detached, ambitious yet calm, engaged yet free. That's why people can never predict him. He's not reacting to emotion. He's obeying two invisible codes that constantly check and balance each other. This inner duality is his secret weapon. When others burn out chasing results, he endures because he's not attached to them. When others quit under pressure, he stays steady because he's trained not to flinch. He's both storm and stillness, capable of chaos, but ruled by calm. People try to label him stoic, strategist, loner, but none fit because those labels assume consistency. The Sigma doesn't aim for consistency. He aims for truth in every moment, even if that truth contradicts yesterday's version of him. He's both the man who lets go and the one who holds the line, and that's why he wins while everyone else is still trying to figure out the rules. Number 12, he's loyal to purpose, not to people. He's loyal to purpose, not to people. The Sigma male learned early that loyalty without direction is just emotional slavery. He's not heartless, he's disciplined. The monk in him avoids attachments because he knows they cloud judgment. The mercenary avoids betrayal because he's seen what misplaced trust can destroy. Together they make him look distant, but he's not detached from people. He's devoted to something higher than them. His mission, his growth, his code. He respects people, but he doesn't depend on them. Friendship, love, or loyalty mean nothing to him if they pull him off his path. He's the kind of man who will help you selflessly, but never at the cost of his principles. If someone asks him to compromise his code for the sake of connection, that's the moment they lose him. It's not pride, it's clarity. His loyalty belongs to the purpose that gives his life meaning, not to the emotions that come and go. This is why he's hard to understand. People mistake his detachment for arrogance, but he's simply built different. While others tie their identity to who they belong to, he ties his to what he's becoming. The monk in him believes every soul has a sacred duty, something divine that shouldn't be interrupted by human drama. The mercenary in him knows that alliances are useful but temporary, and that real loyalty means protecting the mission even if it costs relationships. He's not antisocial. He's mission-driven. He can walk alone for years if that's what the goal demands. He doesn't burn bridges impulsively, but he won't hesitate to cross them alone. People expect loyalty to mean permanence, but to him it means alignment. If your energy no longer serves his purpose, he'll release you quietly, not in anger, but in acceptance. His version of love isn't about possession, it's about respect for each other's evolution. And his version of loyalty isn't about standing beside him, it's about not standing in his way. Because in his world, people come and go, but purpose is eternal. That's why he may look cold, but he's not heartless. He's just faithful to something most people have never found, a mission worth sacrificing for. The Sigma male lives as a paradox the world can't decode, a monk in meditation and a mercenary in motion. He's not half one and half the other. He's the perfect fusion of stillness and strategy, spirit and survival. Every day he walks a thin line between chaos and peace, between isolation and dominance. Where most men seek to be one thing, he dares to be both. And that's what makes him dangerous, misunderstood, and unforgettable. His strength doesn't come from muscles or status. It comes from mastering the invisible. He wages wars no one sees, builds fortresses no one enters, and finds freedom in places most people run from. The monk in him seeks purity. The mercenary seeks precision. Together, they create a man who doesn't live life by accident. He designs it, dismantles it, and rebuilds it stronger every single time. He doesn't chase validation, trends, or applause. Those are the currencies of the fragile. What fuels him is evolution, the relentless pursuit of becoming sharper, calmer, and more unshakably himself. His contradictions don't weaken him, they forge him. He can pray with one hand and plan with the other. He can forgive you and forget you in the same breath. He doesn't crave peace because he knows how to command it. He doesn't seek war because he already is one. This is the life of the Sigma male, the man who lives two lives in one body, balancing mercy and madness, silence and strategy, solitude and power. The monk teaches him how to let go. The mercenary teaches him what to hold on to. And together, they make him unstoppable. If this resonated with you, if you felt that quiet recognition somewhere deep inside your own contradictions, then you already know which life you're living. Or maybe which one is living you. Don't just watch and disappear. Subscribe to the channel, like this video, and share it with someone who needs to hear it. Drop a comment below. Let's build a community of minds who understand that being both calm and dangerous isn't confusion. It's evolution.